Hey guys, welcome to the Sales Unscripted podcast. This is Margaret Henney.
I'm Bryan Neal.
And we are back for your listening pleasure. Very excited. What are we talking about today, by the way?
We're talking.
I get off. I'm like,
we're talking about inspection.
Ugh, thank you.
There you
See,
go.
this is my intro. I can't do a good intro.
Your intro was perfect. It was
Thank
perfect.
you.
The
Okay.
second, you just got to warm up.
I told you what
gotta get in the groove.
I need to get into is okay, you know the guy who does the announcing for MMA? Do you watch
Yeah, of course.
MMA at all?
Yeah.
You know he's the brother of the guy who does the "Let's get ready to rumble." Those guys are brothers.
You sure it's not the same guy?
Swear to God, two different dudes.
It's two different dudes?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
But can you believe
I was like 2 feet away from him at the Super Bowl.
No.
I was on the field and he was an announcer.
He was the announcer?
Yeah, he did it didn't show on TV. I think effed it up. I think
my
he was out there.
God.
Yeah,
What is it that-
Michael. What is his
He
name?
wears these crazy suits and
Yeah.
stuff, and he's like fighting out of the red corner.
What's amazing to me is that they have. It seems like he doesn't use any notes.
I don't think he does.
No, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
10 pounds out of Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Jake the Snake.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
he does
whatever.
that stuff, right?
Not Jake the Snake, but
You
know,
like
something
MMA,
cool like
huh?
that. Okay, I got converted to it.
Me too.
From
when
my
I
boyfriend.
first started watching it, I'm like, this is barbaric.
Totally.
This should be shut down.
I hated it.
Humans shouldn't do this to one another.
Now I think it's an
I
art form.
can't not watch it.
I think it's
If it's
actually
on,
like
It's amazing
It's
because when you do the
amazing.
jiu-jitsu,
Yes.
and then like 1 out of 10 it's bad, but 9
Yeah.
out of 10 they're so respectful.
So
they
respectful.
touch gloves, they beat the fucking shit out of each other. They get up and hug. They go after in the back after they're done, and they're talking to each other and they're chill.
they totally respect each other
It's
as
unbelievable.
athletes. Like they
It's
are,
unbelievable.
they're so disciplined.
Unbelievable.
They like the grappling. Like there's so many different elements
amazing.
to it that I'm totally into it.
I am too,
And
and
so-
I literally can't not. Once I like if I'm flipping channels or
Yeah.
on Instagram or ESPN app and I hit it, I can't. I gotta watch.
I know.
And just all of the precision of the knockouts and the speed of everything.
Yes. I think if
just
people knew it was like
unbelievable.
actually way more like precise, and there's like
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
that they wouldn't think it's such like this crazy all out brawl, which is
Yes.
what it looks like, of course.
Sometimes,
there are
yes.
definitely sometimes that I have to hide my
Yes.
eyes because I'm like, don't hit his head.
Yeah, I know.
I freak
Yeah.
out a little bit about
Yeah,
that.
and
but
I appreciate the people where because good one knows if they get a certain shot and the person's out, they know they drill them in the face.
yeah,
and
totally.
Just like
They're
goes.
like,
they don't
"Oh,
even go over and
jeez."
try to finish them off. 'cause
no,
they
no,
know
no,
the
no,
guy's out.
no, not the
Now,
ground and
some
pound.
of them go fucking finish them.
Yeah. Now I know all this weird lingo
nuts.
around MMA too. I'm
just
like, that's an
crazy.
eye gouge. You can't do that.
Exactly right. It's an eye gouge. You're bitching at the refs in MMA. What are you gonna do in my games?
You
Are
can't
bitching
do any
at me?
small joint manipulation. That's illegal.
Small joint manipulation.
It's true. It's illegal.
You're way into it. I know. I trust you. So
Anyway,
how
okay.
come you guys stopped the sub podcast? Well, Margaret got a job as a referee for the MMA. She's now reffing MMA. So ready, fight.
Oh
Love it.
God, I love it.
Okay, so here's what I want to talk about.
Tell me.
Can I tie this into MMA? I'll try. We're going to talk about the concept. This is the concept of inspection.
Mm-hmm.
Inspection. This is going to be a flag that I think everyone should carry in the back half of this year and totally into 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just what it says. It is deeply, deeply inspecting my work, both my output, but more importantly, my processes.
Okay.
And I'm talking about being a picky, prickly inspector.
Ooh, where is this coming from?
An annoying person. It's coming from the 3 episodes ago. We talked about the downturn potentially and all this stuff and
Yep,
how to
and the
get disciplined
economy.
at process and stuff.
Okay.
So what's the next level of that? So you can say, well, I'm disciplined at process. Well, I need someone to inspect my work. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it as well as I possibly could do? And I'm not talking like, am I trying hard? I'm talking about, am I doing the mechanical things right? So
Yes.
when you watch MMA fighters and they go back and watch the film and they
Yes.
inspect, it's typically a tiny little mistake that one of the two makes that gets them knocked out.
Yep,
right?
that's totally
like literally
right.
they're here, they're in guard, and they get off balance and they drop this to
Yep,
like
they expose
literally
their chin or
just
something
for
or whatever.
just for a second.
Yes.
Or like he drops here and forgets to cover and then bam, it's just like over.
Yeah.
And when he inspects or she inspects their work, her work, then she knows why. I see what I did. Next time if I jab, I got to stay up here covered. I sound like I know what I'm talking
No,
about.
I like
so
it. I'm
really
into it.
don't.
Do you see
that?
how I'm watching? I was
know
like,
you're like,
yes.
And so now this is the part. So this is where generational differences come to play.
Okay.
Now, but you act like a Gen Xer.
You think
you
so?
got some millennial tendencies, but you have some maybe growing up in small town Indiana put you on the.
Probably.
That's a compliment,
I'm kind
by
of
the
an
way.
old soul too.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
maybe
Which is
that's
good.
it.
I think it's good. So, But the millennial crew and the Gen Z crew hasn't seen any resistance or headwinds. We talked about that.
Yep, true.
And it's not their fault. They just don't know what it feels like. And because they've been in an economy selling with tailwinds, they don't know where they're missing in their processes.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
it's kind of like an MMA fighter gets in, and just because they're just bigger, stronger, faster, they just beat the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
But technically, they don't realize they're doing something wrong.
Yeah,
See
totally.
that?
Well, and you have to look at it. I think it's actually a really good analogy because it's really difficult to dissect when you're in it, right?
You can't.
Like
You
the
can't.
same thing, like when you're selling
can't.
a deal or like when you're in a fight, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to, but when afterwards you can be like, okay, let's take a second here and take a break and be like, what went right, what went wrong,
Yes.
and try to like break that down. And there would be the tendency to be like, even if you sold a deal, right? And you're like, perfect, I don't have to think about that. I closed it. That was my whole goal. But you could probably even go back and pick apart that a little bit to be like, what could I have done better?
Yes, absolutely.
Don't you think?
Yeah, and I love what you said. You can't pick it apart then. You can pick it apart later.
Yeah.
And this is the part. So millennials don't like to get their work picked. They love feedback. It's funny, but then they don't like feeling criticized at the same time. It's really interesting. Is that true?
Okay.
They don't
Yes.
like
However,
conflict.
that's a generalization.
Huge generalization for sure.
I would
Yes,
say,
huge.
on the whole, that's probably true. Mostly, I also hate criticism, mostly just because I'm like, I hate to be called out on things.
Right.
You know, because I'm like, I don't want to. I want to do a good job. I don't
Yes.
want to feel like I'm not doing a good job. But then you don't get any better about it either.
No,
So,
you never will.
Yeah.
And so the other problem we have is since we've had good tailwinds, we're like up 30%. We're kind of doing our processes, and it doesn't matter how good they are because it's all working. And also now we all work from home whenever we want, wherever we want. We've got unlimited PTO. So this sort of free for all, life is good.
Yeah.
Well, when the shit hits the fan and it starts to turn south, some of that's going to feel pressure, resistance. Like you go, hey, we need to get you buckled back down. We can't be working from 9 to 2 anymore. We got to try 8:30 to 4 instead.
Yep.
And we got to get really good and discipline our process.
Yeah.
So there's all these conflicting interests for everybody. People want to be left alone and the freedom and the culture to do what they want. The results aren't going to come like they did. I promise you they're not.
I'm just laughing because like what you're saying, it is like definitely our generational differences are coming out right now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm totally Gen X guy here. And we got to fucking get to work,
And I'm like, cool it, old man.
Well,
like,
but seriously, and what we can't do as leaders, and you're a leader in your organization, as a Gen X leader, what we can't do is to say, my first boss, Vic Livesey, we made store calls, man. We went Bob Evans at 6 a.m. We were in the store first one till 7. We made our last call at 5:30.
Yeah.
We swung through the drive-through for lunch. We got to work. We got, you know what I mean? That doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like you'll
True.
say, they'll
Yep.
say, okay, old man, thanks. You got mixed up like work-life balance.
Yeah,
So your
totally. They'll
personal
be
life's
like,
a shit,
man,
so
your priorities are way off, bro,
Totally.
and that's not what I want.
Exactly.
So it's not going
They're
to
gonna
work.
shove
That
them
kind of
totally.
shaming
No.
is also just like shaming in general is
Right.
is not something that's
No.
typically going to motivate people. However, gosh, there's another word for it. I can't remember. It's not shaming. It's I don't know, but holding them
Criticizing?
accountable.
Okay.
No, I'll think of it eventually. It comes from Brene Brown. I'm a huge Brene Brown
too,
fan. And I wish I could think about it. And she has this great episode where she talks about how like shame does not actually produce change in people, but
Right.
something else does. And I'll think of it eventually. But
We should have Brene on the show.
oh my God, can you imagine?
I'd be excited. I'll try. I'll ask. I don't
Oh,
care.
would you?
Of course. What's she going to say? No? I mean, why not?
You're,
Gotta work angles.
she could possibly say no.
She
And that
would
would
say-
be not a bad thing.
No, she would say no. She said something, right?
Oh my God.
So yes, I agree. There's some art to the way this conversation goes down. The way I try to think about it. So we first have to like come clean and say we all want the same thing.
Yeah.
That's the first bit.
Okay.
So someone who's a salesperson, AE, they want to help customers. They want to close deals.
Mm-hmm.
In return, they get commission. Then they can buy a house.
Yes.
Right.
I'm looking at a house
And I
today.
love it. Margaret's looking at her house.
The worst time ever to look at a
your
house.
first house?
It's my first house.
That's unbelievable.
I know.
That's so good. Isn't that fun?
I'm so excited.
It's so good.
I'm
It's a
trying. I'm not
thing.
too excited.
I understand you can't. Not in this
Managing
market either.
expectations,
Yeah, for sure.
but-
I'm just really housing good
Thank
house
you.
vibes to you.
Thank you.
So you have to kind of art this thing, right? There's an
Yep.
art to it, and it's got to be collaborative, I think.
Yeah.
So we got to say we ground by saying we both want the same thing.
Mm-hmm,
As things get more difficult, we might have to really take a look at the processes so we get really good at the systems.
You know what? Okay, I'm gonna spitball here for just a
Yeah,
little
go
bit
ahead.
too. I wonder if it would maybe be a good approach first too to like ask your team that you're working with, like, hey, what do you feel like maybe you could button up? Is there something that you can imagine you could maybe like button up or do a little bit better as we're really trying to get prepared here, maybe staring down the barrel of a recession? And maybe put that on them to identify. What are you laughing because of our generational differences?
It's like flaring up right now really bad. Hi, everybody. Okay, so like really proud of the team.
You guys.
Let's talk about what we did this weekend. Now, it's so our sales are down 45%, but that's okay. I know you've been putting in the effort. Just want to have some open conversation.
I
some
wish
dialogue.
you guys could see me rolling my eyes.
Wish you guys some dialogue
Look at YouTube to watch me eye roll. I'm like,
what
Bryan.
maybe perhaps just like a couple little things, nothing major that maybe we could just get a little better at.
Shut
I
up.
don't know.
I know.
It's not you.
Okay,
it's not you.
But
this
listen,
is
here's
a generalized.
Here's
but
why
you
I
hear
think
what I'm
it's
saying,
actually,
right?
Yes, I do. And when you say it like that, it makes me feel like
No,
okay, I'm being
it's
kind of
just
a
the
pansy.
reality.
But here's what is okay.
And.
Here's what could
Don't say but and.
Okay, but and what could be positive about this though is encouraging self-reflection, which is important. Okay,
Let's self-reflect. Why this house is burning down?
Oh
what if
my
the pizza
God.
guy? What if the pizza guy would have said?
this is
"I'm gonna
the most
think
that we have
about it."
disagreed on a podcast so
We're
far.
not disagreeing. We're just sharing our points of view. We're not
They're
disagreeing.
different. They're not
They're
better or
different.
worse.
No,
they're
they're
different,
different, but
which
keep
you
going.
just taught me.
I
So
love.
I don't think I think it's a good idea to encourage people to be self-reflective because here's the thing.
I do too. I
Now-
agree with that one.
Now with
for
the
sure.
the caveat too is like
Where
also
our
then
sales
you
are down 45%.
okay, but you still
might not be the time for self-reflection.
okay,
Up 20%, yes. Down 45, we got to get the fucking shit going.
You can also tell them like you need to be doing this or this is where I think you could improve. But like if you're just giving them marching orders too, then they're not taking any accountability for improving themselves. And I think
play
that
this
could
out?
be a positive thing.
Thank you. You're so. Let me just play this out. And here's the problem. And now I am going to sound like an old man. I've been through three of these things.
Yes.
If you graduated from college after 2010, you've been through 0 of these things.
Yeah.
Here's what happens. The other thing that's happened, salaries have gone through the roof.
Yeah, they have.
Base salaries have gone through the roof.
Yep.
When the shit hits the fan, people, one of two things. They get laid off.
Mm-hmm.
They lose their jobs. The housing market's not changing. Guaranteed. So you don't have a job and you're trying to find a house. You can't get it. That's going to happen. Number two, where do they go? Who do they fire first? Medium to low performers with the highest base salaries. Always, always, always.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the third thing that happens, then you're in a job market. You haven't been in a job market when it's been a problem. It's going to be a problem now because it's going to be flooded. So I'm just trying to help y'all see this.
Oh my God,
But
fear mongering.
I'm not fear mongering. It's your reality. And this is what I do. So it's not me. We'll go look at the stats. We'll just pull all the data from 2008, 9, and 10. And I'll just show you. This is what happened.
I believe
Then
you.
we'll pull the ones from 08.
I
Then
know.
we'll pull the ones from 001. Then we'll go to 92. All the stats look the same. They all look the same.
All right. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I agree. And I think that you're giving really good advice, however. And I think there are other
That's fair.
new
I'll let it live.
tactics that people can live and
There are.
also implement.
know.
Not in like opposition to, but in addition to.
Okay, very good. You're being very millennial.
Shut
Just
up.
in even how you're talking to me
I
right now.
know my voice
Can
is
we just
going
agree?
higher.
Can we agree?
I know. I hate disagreeing. Disagreeing
Actually,
is fine.
I didn't take it as disagreeing at all. I took it as a different perspective and the same thing.
This is why I go to therapy.
Yeah, same. 4 times a week.
Have healthy discussion. It's
yeah,
fine.
it's okay.
fine.
Healthy conflict. Constructive criticism. Oh, no. What is it? Constructive tension. It's a concept from the book The Challenger's Hell.
I
Being
see. I don't
comfortable
know about
having
that.
constructive tension in a room. It's good,
God,
isn't it?
I'm
It's
so
great.
uncomfortable with
So
it.
I'm not totally uncomfortable, mostly because I feel very comfortable in my
in your position.
in my position.
Totally.
And here's the other part, and I know you know this. I have good intention with my position.
Always.
I'm not trying to be right.
Oh my God,
or
no.
think I know a bunch of shit.
Yeah, totally.
This is about. I don't want to see people
Yeah.
lose their job and lose when they don't have to lose.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Totally.
And all we're inspecting is detail of behavior. So all we're really inspecting is like we teach to do a clear future date. So
Yeah.
here's the difference. Here's the difference between like what we've been doing. So you got a clear future date, Margaret? She's like, yeah, we're supposed to connect next Friday. The manager goes, oh, great. Okay, let me know how it goes. There's 0 inspection there. Right? I didn't inspect that at all.
Okay.
I say, here's an inspection. Hey, you got a clear future date? Yeah, we're supposed to talk next Friday. I'm like, cool. What time? You got a meeting scheduled?
Uh-huh.
Okay. You're
Yeah,
like,
yes,
"Oh."
I do.
Okay, good. What time?
It's at 2:00.
Sweet. We're good. Okay. I just inspected a double deeper, but here's what will happen. the first version. Hey, got a meeting scheduled? Or what's next? You got clear for you today? Yeah, we're supposed to talk next Tuesday. Instead of going, okay, I go, when is it? Then you go, actually, I don't have a time. I'm supposed to call her in the morning. Okay.
I've got a follow-up task.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And the manager can't just let that go to say, okay, cool. Let's buckle down, clear future date. So here's my recommendation to do. I would like right now, go shoot her an email and get the date booked on the calendar.
Yeah, totally.
Just so you're not chasing her around. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
That's
Expecting
good.
that level of detail, and it's not in a jerk way. I'm not
No.
you gotta get.
You're not trying to corner people either.
Not at all.
You're like, hey, let's make sure we've got this completely buttoned up in every way that
Every
we
way,
possibly
shape,
can. And if we
absolutely.
don't, that's okay. We can change that. Let's go ahead and get that changed.
Yes.
Man.
When you're talking about a deal, if you're a leader and you're talking to a salesperson about a deal, or if you're a salesperson and someone's asking you about your deal, pay attention to these two words, these two small phrases. I think and I believe. I think, I believe.
I'm so guilty.
Count how many times you say,
yes.
I think they're going to, I believe it's because, okay, that means we don't know. I'm inspecting deeper.
Yeah.
And what I do is when I hear I think, I go, okay, did you talk about that specifically? Not exact. Okay. So tell me what you did. What did you ask her? Tell me what you asked. See, I'm inspecting.
Yeah.
Right?
Gosh, that is so good. That's really true. And because the problem is, I also think that whoever you're leading, they're not necessarily thinking that they're like, that they're in a bad spot, right? They're just like, they're like, no, I think this and that. And then once you start asking those probing questions, then they're like, oh shit, Bryan, you're right.
Yes,
we didn't talk about that. Or I'm making an assumption because of this and this.
That's the difference.
Now I'm on board.
We're back together again.
Thank God, I hate conflict. Everything is fine.
You agree with everything. We're happy.
Shemazel. What do they say?
Incorporated, something like that. We're gonna
doing it our way.
Get set, let go now. I got my piano right here.
Oh, perfect. Wait, okay, now that's what is that freaking show?
Earworm? It's Laverne and Shirley.
Laverne and Shirley, thank you. Do you know, this is embarrassing. The reason I know about Laverne and Shirley is because of Wayne's World.
Are you serious?
That's it. That's the only reason I had
never
ever
watched the show.
I had never
seen
it.
A rerun of it?
No.
Well, you wouldn't. You would have been born after it was off the air, probably.
No, too young.
When were you born? 82?
84.
84.
Yeah.
So Laverne and Shirley would have ended in 82 or 3, maybe.
Do you know that right off the top of your head?
I was kind of like a geeky pop culture
Very
guy that way. And
I
loved all those old 70s shows.
So good.
It was so good.
Okay, you had some really good stuff today. Thank you.
That was fun. Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for letting me.
Thank you guys for listening into our conflict, our constructive conflict.
We're going to start going to group therapy together. Margaret and I are going to go to a therapist. Like, so how long have you guys been together? Well, we're not really together.
We're
you're
not.
not married? No. Engaged? Dating? No. What are you? We're podcast
We have a podcast
hosts.
together. I'm
going to start a therapy. It's kind of funny. This is podcast humor no one cares about, but I think I'm going to start a podcast therapy session for podcast partners and radio partners that don't get along. They're radio partners, right?
Actually, it's not a bad idea.
It really is. It's interesting.
New business
Therapy
venture.
For business partners.
Let's go. Recession proof.
Really, seriously. Yeah. All right. That's it.
Awesome. Thanks,
Great
guys.
session. See you. Bye.
Later.